Hi, I'm back with another video finally. I was away for a couple of weeks and just life got in the way, but here I am. So today I thought that we could talk about some ways to reduce waste, or I guess maybe some ways to help the planet that don't really have anything to do with reducing physical waste. So some things that you can do that don't have anything to do with how much garbage you create, really. Because I feel like, especially maybe on YouTube, a lot of the zero waste channels are a lot about specifically just reducing garbage. And that's important, but it's not everything. So and it's also not attainable for a lot of people, and it feels isolating. So here are some other things that you can do to help the planet that don't have anything to do with that particular part of the zero waste movement. So here we go. Number one, use your voice. We've all got one, hopefully, most of us. And it's important. Using an example from my real life, we went out to a restaurant last weekend to watch the Raptors because they're in the playoffs. And I ordered fries thinking I don't need to ask them not to bring me plastic because it's just a plate of fries. But when it arrived, it came with this little plastic cup of mayo. And my first thought was like, oh God, and I felt so guilty because I was like, I should have known or something. But you can't know and you can't plan for every possible piece of plastic that's going to come into your life. That it's right now, that's just the world that we live in. But if you use your voice, you can change that. So afterwards, we sent an email to the manager and said, hey, what's the deal with this? Like, you're actually wasting money because you have to buy those plastic things and throw them out. Whereas, like, maybe you could use some little ceramic ramekins instead and wash them because you have other dishes that you also wash. So I do that often. I was at Whole Foods last week and I saw the Beyond Burgers and the amount of plastic packaging and like black plastic, which isn't even recyclable. It bothered me. So I sent a message to Beyond Meat, like through email and also on Instagram, and just said like, this is actually, it makes me upset because one of the biggest reasons that I don't eat meat, and we're getting to this one, is because of ecological reasons. So the fact that I'm buying this non-meat thing in a lot of plastic bothers me. So little things like that, it doesn't take long, but just using your voice as a consumer really does matter because companies will listen if enough of us are asking them to change their packaging or their protocols or whatever. So that matters. And another way that you can use your voice that's like super easy and really lazy but actually can make an impact is to sign up for some email lists from advocacy groups like Greenpeace, or there's lots of local ones as well, and they often do petitions, online petitions, and you fill out a little form and there's an email form letter that's already created that gets sent to like your member of parliament and your mayor, or whoever the people are who are going to be involved in making decisions about whatever the issue is that is the petition is for. All of those individuals get sent that email from you. Oh, here's Sweet Pea. All of those people will get sent an email from you, and you didn't even have to spend the time trying to figure out the right words for the email because somebody else did it for you. So that's a really easy way to maybe create some change, and it doesn't take much time. Add your voice to the voices of people who are already advocating for these things, I think that's a pretty worthwhile way to spend your time. Number 3 would just be to be more energy conscious. So we think of fossil fuels as mostly things that we just put in our cars, but actually fossil fuels power a lot of different kinds of residential energy as well. If you can, try to turn the lights off when you leave a room, just be more aware of the amount of energy that you're using. Maybe set your furnace a couple of degrees colder in the winter so it's not working so hard, and a couple of degrees warmer in the summer with your air conditioning, or open your windows more in the summer. It's actually super nice to have your windows open in the summer. Look for ways in your own house that you can reduce the amount of energy that's being used. That's going to save you money too, because you pay for it. So help yourself and help the planet at the same time. 24.6% of global greenhouse gas emissions were coming from energy, not talking about transportation, just talking about other kinds of energy. That's a lot, that's like a quarter. Really, it can make a big difference if you just make your furnace a little bit warmer, colder. Number 4, eat less meat. I talked about this before. Now we're back to it. So going back to that chart that I was talking about before, animal agriculture accounts for 14 to 18% of global greenhouse gas emissions. That's a lot. It also contributes to deforestation because farmers need land to grow the feedstock that they give to their livestock. So they're growing vegetables, essentially plants, to feed to animals who then need water and other resources to grow up so that we can eat them. And to me, it kind of just makes more sense to eat plants because that's a more direct way and there's less going on in between. It's also true that cows, red meat especially, are worse in terms of their environmental impact. So, you don't have to become vegan. You don't even have to be vegetarian. I'm working on it, but even I'm not there. Even if you can just reduce the amount of meat that you eat, especially red meat, maybe you decide to try to make it a rule that you only eat meat at dinner, and at breakfast and lunch you don't eat meat. Whatever works for you. You don't have to go all the way with any of this. You just have to do what feels good and what's reasonable, Number 5 is to just educate yourself. Know more about all of these issues, and once you know more, it's hard to not make these changes, and it's hard to not care about it. Read some books. I'll make another video with a list of all of the different books that I've read since I started sort of caring about these issues, but there's tons. And there's also YouTubers that you could follow. I'll try to also figure out how to link them in the description. And you can sign up for some of those advocacy groups emails so that on a regular basis you're getting informed about the issues that are important to those groups and what you can do to help them make that happen. And then the more educated you are, the more you can share your knowledge with other people and maybe impact how they're living. My cats are fighting. It's Snowpants and Morrissey. You can't see them. They're just smacking each other in the face right now. Since I started reducing my waste and trying to, do the whole sustainable life thing, I often have people tell me, what you're doing as an individual doesn't really matter. You know that, right? And I mean, that's not a nice thing to say to somebody. And they're not wrong. That's the really sad thing, is that those people who say that, they're not wrong. What I'm doing as an individual really does not matter. It's not going to change anything. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't try. What am I trying to say? Every time I talk to somebody about what I'm doing and I see that they are realizing that the way that the world is not really a sustainable way for the world to be. I think that that's where the impact happens. And I think that if we're all learning as much as we can about why the world isn't going to work the way that it is, and we learn about ways that we can change it, I think that the more we know and the more we talk about it with other people, the more that change might actually happen. So don't give up and keep doing your best, and don't feel guilty or like it's all on you if what you're doing feels like it's not working, because the whole system needs to change, and we just got to work towards that. So thanks for everything that you're doing already, even if it's just remembering to bring a reusable bag to the grocery store, or if it's sharing this video with somebody who you think is going to care about hearing what I have to say. All of those things matter, and if we're all working together and we all really care, I think eventually things will change. So thanks for watching. You can subscribe if you want to see my next video. Let me know if you want to hear about those books that I've been reading, or if you want to hear more about my struggles to try to be a vegetarian. I'm really looking forward to sharing some more awesome stuff with you guys. Have a great week. Bye.